What if the life you're living, the beliefs you fiercely guard, the roles you play, are nothing more than illusions? What if your routines, your goals, your sense of purpose aren't signs of freedom, but the carefully polished bars of a prison you've been trained not to see? This is the kind of question Kafka doesn't just ask. He embodies. His works aren't simply stories, they're mirrors, strange and distorted, but painfully accurate reflections of our deepest fears about the self and the systems that surround us. Kafka isn't here to comfort you. He's here to disturb you, to show you how we lose our way in the labyrinth of rules and expectations we don't even remember agreeing to. Look at the metamorphosis. A man wakes up as a monstrous insect, and instead of screaming, he worries about being late for work. It's absurd, yes, but also uncomfortably familiar. Kafka exposes something fundamental about us. We are so entangled in our obligations that we willingly trade our humanity for a false sense of security. Grigor Samsa's grotesque form is not the horror. His surrender is. He doesn't rebel, doesn't cry out. Instead, he quietly lets go of his identity, piece by piece, in service of a system that has no real care for him. And so, Kafka asks, how much of yourself have you already given away? How many of your dreams, your joys, have you sacrificed to meet expectations you didn't set? Are you too becoming Gregor, slowly giving up your essence to please a merciless, faceless world? But Kafka's critique doesn't stop at individual surrender. It drills deeper into the systems we create. In the trial, Joseph K. is arrested for a crime that is never explained. He's thrown into a nonsensical bureaucracy where every door is closed, every rule meaningless, and yet he complies. Why? Because it's what we do. We follow absurd rules because we are afraid not to. We tell ourselves there must be a purpose, a reason, even when there is none. This is the heart of Kafka's message. The systems that bind us are illusions, but we enforce them upon ourselves. We live as though these structures are inevitable, unshakable, even sacred, because the alternative, freedom, terrifies us. Freedom means uncertainty. It means confronting the void and creating meaning from it. That, Kafka suggests, is the hardest thing of all. Kafka's world, as bleak as it appears, holds a faint but vital thread of hope. His characters show us the cost of avoiding truth, yes, but they also nudge us toward an alternative, to see life for what it is. Absurd, chaotic, and without inherent meaning, and to embrace it anyway. This is not despair, it's liberation. For once you realize the rules are made up, you are free to rewrite them. Once you see that the structures have no foundation, you can walk away. Kafka lived this tension. He wrestled with it in his work, in his relationships, in his life. He felt the weight of his father's expectations, the demands of society, the grind of a bureaucratic job, and he knew the courage it takes to step back and ask, is this really who I am? He understood that freedom isn't found in rebellion for its own sake or in destruction, but in honesty, in facing the illusions and choosing, with eyes wide open, to live authentically. So, here's the question Kafka leaves us with. Are you awake? Are you living your life, or the life others have handed to you? Are you clinging to comforting illusions at the cost of your own identity? True freedom, Kafka suggests, isn't just about breaking rules. It's about stepping outside the entire game and seeing it for what it is. It's about accepting the chaos, the absurdity, and finding your own meaning within it. Are you ready to wake up, to let go of the false comforts and embrace the terrifying, exhilarating truth of being fully, truly alive?